I am Couch Coop, spelled C-O-O-P, no hyphen. We're going to have a look at the update that came in and gave us Scorched Earth. This is on the PlayStation 5 and this is only single player offline. I will get to the split screen. Most of you are aware, didn't have a PlayStation 5 for 8 weeks. It's now back on site.
He rises!
Did review the Scorched Earth map split screen, but it was on PC, so I really need to test the console version on both maps after this patch. Now there is a tiny bit of good news, but if you look at those notes, there is nothing that talks about the performance of the game. It's been scrolling through like 90 comments from the original video of the previous patch, because I swear I saw someone say, by the way, there's a VSync option now put in for consoles, you can toggle the graphics, there is no performance or quality mode. Cannot find it. Might be having a Nuka World moment, but it isn't there as far as I can see. One mode for all. Don't think anyone's even sure what resolution this game's running at. Certainly not 4K, and it's certainly not 1080. I think there's a lot of super sampling going on, tiling. It does kind of look incredible. And I will say right at the start of the video, even though I'm going to go on a mad slagging off mission with this, it is still one of the more beautiful Unreal 5 open world games that I own. That is undeniable. It does take your breath away in places, but lo and behold, look what we've got here. Lovely bit of screen tear. Is there a rhythm or rhyme to when this is happening? Yeah, there kind of is. If you travel at speed, if you get in a flyer, or if you've got quite a lot of buildings or dino tamed on map, it will start having problems if you pan past them, fly over them, that sort of thing. And that also affects the frame rate as well. We're not even sure if this is a PEG 30. It certainly feels very smooth, but combined with the tearing, it really does feel like a bit of a mess at the moment. Also, look at the parameters of the screen here, where the wings brush past, you'll see a sort of delay, a certain elements are staying on, it's sort of blur, it's distracting. But we did see loads of this in the original game as well. That was full of jank. Right up to its last day. I also rank up my Pteranodon mid-flight here, which is one of the stupidest things you could do if you run out of stamina, plummet towards the ground, straight into the jaws of an awaiting alligator. We've all been there. Keeping on that ranking topic and the UI subject as well, pulling it up, putting it down, having loads of tames around you would always sort of get the older game in a bit of a mess. That is nice and smooth, there's no delay on bringing up that UI with the circle button. It used to have some sort of weird input issues. It's very smooth still. I never had complaints with that on launch day, but it's just this damn screen tearing and crazy frame rates that we need to get on top of. It needs to be pegged. We need a performance mode option. I think this looks like a default quality, i.e. we're running a very high resolution, hence the reason the CPU's tearing the screen everywhere, and we don't have as better frames as we could get. Also, in the game's defense, when watching this footage back, it isn't that jarring. And if you're on something that's fast moving and you're being quite hectic with the camera, you know, you're causing all kinds of pandemonium, dinosaurs running around, the game's expected to chug. Performance of the game when you're on something land-based, even if it's really quick, is kind of fine. It's okay. It's just when you start getting airborne, the higher you go, the worse it seems to get. And the faster you go, the more screen wobble you start seeing. I did think to myself, maybe it's because you're in that first person, maybe it increases the amount that it affects the game, but I went to third person. I don't really like playing the game in this mode. I wanted to double check. You start swinging that camera around, nothing really changes on that front. It's kind of everywhere all the time. As far as other sections of the map go, I can't really comment on that. If you know Ark, you know that this beach section is quite busy. There is a lot of trees, there's water around, it is quite a busy section of map. I went over to the swamp, nothing really changes. I imagine in the woods it's probably worse. I'd love your feedback on that. Even the Arctic sections or some of the mountainous regions may have better performance. It's kind of my fault for sort of staying in the starter biome, but this is where loads of the problems occurred on the last review, so I wanted to peg it all against that. Jesus Christ, these Unreal 5 water effects. So every time I get in a bad mood with the game with its performance on this screen tear, I'm like wowed by something that I haven't noticed before. Some ray of sunlight will hit something. The detail on the dinosaurs is absolutely amazing. And I love the wake behind you if you're going really fast, and even going underwater. The differences in aesthetic are just mind-blowing. This game desperately needs some polish because it is completely gorgeous in places. You just need to know where to look. And they gave me a really good deal with an amazing photo mode, which actually pauses the entire game. I did a bit of wildlife photography. I got dangerously close to a Spinosaur. We all know how badly that can end. Again, back to the gushing. Look at the shadows on this thing. Look how natural it looks within the light and engine itself. It doesn't appear to be like plonked in. You know what I mean? It's very much amongst the undergrowth, and within that lighting it's just phenomenal. But you can see on the body that it's shimmering because the top and bottom are sort of catching up with each other. This only really happens that badly in photo mode because I'm really focusing on a high detail section. And when we get completely underwater, it does actually entirely disappear. So I'm really keen to hear from people who've got ickies going under the water really quickly. Does that still affect the performance? I imagine it's a little bit better under the water because there's probably less furniture for the game to process. Then I was thinking, it's that map, it's the island map. The new Scorched Earth might just be fine in single player. Obviously in split screen it's got its own whole set of issues which I've discussed in the previous video, link in description, you might as well sub whilst you're in there.
I've seen the threat that was so close to her, where Rockwell's experiments would lead.
Who is that Rockwell that Katana's sister's talking about? I'm not too up to speed with Ark lore. I probably should look into that a bit. There's a big hefty intro to going into Scorched Earth, which I did not spot first time round. I think I probably skipped it. But holy sweet baby ink in the orphans. This is a whole lot worse. Scorched Earth is a busy map, I'll give you that, but it's not as populated as some of the forests or, you know, deep oceans and beaches that we see in the island. So I was a little bit gobsmacked at how bad this actually is. Check it out. If you do a horizon pan, it's almost strobe effect. So there is loads of work to be done. It's annoying me as much as it is everybody else. This game has seeds of brilliance in it on a visual level, and they haven't ruined the Ark model. It's all still there. You can just get on and enjoy that. But I really need to see some improvements. Stick with the channel. I will keep you all updated on what's going on with this. Talking of performance, I'm trying to get Hellblade 2 to run it higher than 10 frames per second on low on my PC. It's not happening. That is one thirsty game. Can you put in the comments if you've got it working on your NASA style rigs? I have been Couchku, COOP, no hyphen, and I will see you down there.
We're all gonna burn for what we did to you.